Alright, hello and welcome to my first tutorial. This by Meadow Toys. This is a Tolly Tots doll from the early to mid 2000s about. So obviously she's in very much so played with shape. You can see scuff marks. She could use a good cleaning up as well. But what I'm going to show you today is hair. You'll notice on this side that Jessica's hair, this doll's Jessica anyway, you'll notice that it's nicely French braided in such a way that then it has a pigtail at the bottom and it comes around in the back like so. Hopefully you could get a pretty good idea of how that looks. Now I'm going to show you how to do that on this side of the hair now, because I understand that it's a lot different trying to French braid doll hair than it is trying to French braid people hair. But at the same time, I personally think French braids look nicer, because if, for instance, we were going to do a standard 3-strand braid, it would look more like this, which is just clunky and quite frankly not really what a little girl would want to play with. This is ideal if you have small children, because then yeah, they still get the pretty long hair and they can still brush, say, this pigtail part. This is the braided side, but they aren't trying to do the entire thing themselves, and this actually happens to keep most of the knots out of it, which is one of my favorite parts of any doll hair idea. So where I'm going to start is I'm going to start right up here at her crown, and I'm going to get just a few pieces of hair. Now the way I'm going to show you to do this is very much so geared towards dolls with rooted hair. That means the dolls where when you pull it apart like this, you can see little holes where the hair is stuck into it. It's a little bit different than wigged hair, which would be what the American Girl dolls have. Now this doll is comparable in size and honestly in hair texture to an American Girl doll, but she has rooted hair, whereas an American Girl doll has wigged hair. Part of that reflects the price point of the dolls. Now I'm going to grab right up here by her crown just a small section. Go ahead and section it off. You can just do this by hand. You don't need like a fancy comb thing. And then split that into 3 sections. Now I'm going to start and go over, 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 over. And now is when we're really going to start French braiding. So I'm going to take the right strand down and over without adding any hair. Now before I take the left strand, the lower strand, I'm also going to grab a little piece from right near her face, a little further along the crown. Now I want to make sure that I bring this in nice and flat and full, and bring it over. And then next I'm going to bring the other side, the right hand side over again without adding any hair, because I am only adding hair for this particular style from one side. I'm adding from the side closest to her ear or her face. So now I'm going to grab another little piece from along her hairline. Now we're a little farther lower, and again I want to make sure that this piece is nice and flat and smooth when I bring it in, because that's going to help the process of hiding our ever so lovely rooted hair from showing, so that she just looks like she has glossy hair and not holes in her head. Now I'm going to cross the top back over again. Now take the left, and this time go from just below where we had it before. You're going to be taking progressively larger and larger pieces. So not just in terms of adding the same size to what you have, but you're going to be adding even more as you continue to go on. Make sure you have all the hair you started with, plus a little bit more. Smooth it out nice and flat. Cross it. Now cross the other side, just quick and easy as far as that side goes. Now we're going to take another piece, still trying to stay as close to the hairline as possible. Now this piece, we aren't going to be able to flatten quite as much, so what I want you to do is kind of curl it under the hair we already had in as we cross it over. Now I want you to bring the right side down and over. Again, we're just continuing this French braid. The real trick here is just to keep flattening this lower side. This just helps to hide the roots, or the rooted nature of the hair, which also helps to make the dolls look nicer and to appear less doll-like and more like, say, a child. Or generally just more realistic. Now, there may still be some small spots, particularly if the doll has lost some hair in a spot here or there. If some has fallen out over years of play, those kinds of things can affect it a lot. Continuing, pulling tight as you go. And now, even once we get down here where this side is just as close, where the right hand side is just as close to the hair, we still don't want to take that over. We're still continuing to only add from the left hand side. This is part of what gives it that pretty curved in look, that will give you kind of a horseshoe effect. Now, how far down I like to braid? I like to start by going down. I feel like I'm going to go all the way to the end. And I pretty much do go until one piece is like this, too short to really go any further. But then when I go to put the holder on, I see where the farthest down point so that I think I can still catch most of the hair before it starts falling out of the braid and being pieces and parts all over the place. And I tie it there. When you're on your second braid, you probably also want to make sure it's near to the same length as the other, but fortunately this normally happens pretty naturally overall. Now, once I get her out of this chair, I will give you a better idea of what it looks like. And obviously you don't need a chair. The chair I just like because it helps to keep her in one place, so I'm not holding her. So here is then the back of the hair. Hopefully that's coming in pretty clearly. I know she's very blonde. One side, this is the side I did beforehand, and then the side I just did right there with you. You notice that, like, particularly right along here, you aren't seeing the holes, whereas if we hadn't have kept this nice and flat, you'd be seeing more of the roots. Hopefully you can see them there. I'm not really 100% sure. Now, a way to give this just a little extra flair, and again, then children are able to brush the bottom here and it doesn't disrupt the hair, but one way to give it just a little extra flair is I am going to take this bow. Now this just came from, I believe, Dollar General or Family Dollar. It's a bow for kids' hair, but it works perfectly fine for doll hair. One thing I will note is that it is a ribbon-covered barrette, which means that it's not going to snag in the doll's hair as easily. It's not going to pull it out. The same with both of these holders, though they are different types. Neither one has any metal to avoid them pulling out doll hair. Now right here, I'm just going to take a little bit and push this through a chunk of hair. It can take some maneuvering. Once you have it through there, I'm going to then pull it through the other side and clamp it down nice and tight. Rock it down a little bit so that we can't see the holders as much. And then there you go. A nice, very pretty 2 French or boxer style braids, and then a holder in the back. And that's about it. So yeah, thanks for watching, and if you are interested in dolls, particularly dolls that are very inclusive, go ahead and check out my Etsy shop. It is Meadow Toys, and again, have a great day. Bye!